Hello, how are you today? I always like to start by asking, and I know I'm speaking with a camera, but anyways, I know that somebody's behind there. And I'd like to acknowledge how people feel. How do you feel? I mean, today I can tell you how I feel. I'm very happy that we've got the sunshine coming through again after so many days of cold and cloudy weather. It was pretty miserable and drizzling and raining. It was really pretty miserable. But here we are again, a sunny day, so I can finally also come on camera because it really doesn't look nice when it's very dark inside. Today I wanted to just maybe talk a little bit about, things that are coming up quite a lot lately. And one of the things that have come up through, and I can't really get into details because, I do always keep confidentiality, but because these themes come up very much, I'd like to share them at least in a general way, but that hopefully you can get something out of it. I definitely grow so much as I coach along, as I learn in action, actually. So I'd like to share a little bit of how I'm also growing on the way. And one of the things that comes up a lot is the lack of confidence. And it's funny, why do we lack confidence? And one of the things that comes up is, what do other people think of me? Why? And is it friends that expect something from me, and maybe I'm not good enough for what they expect? And then you kind of have all these crazy thoughts, really. If you think about it, if you really think about it, they're pretty crazy, because I mean, nobody's perfect, right? And having that thought of, well, they want something else from me and I'm not really being able to provide it. Maybe they want me to be funnier, less gloomy, or solve their problems. and you can't find a way to solve their problems. And we all have problems, right? It's how we face the problem that is really what matters. Not really what the problem is, but how we face the problem. I actually forgot to... There we go. Okay. I don't know exactly how to actually delete the Facebook pop-ups. It's a technological issue. Sorry about that. Well, in any case, so the thing here's the thing, and here's the first thing I would, and I also have to remind myself all the time, because I'm a human being and I make mistakes as well, and at times I also think, maybe I'm not doing it good enough. Maybe I'm not communicating the way that I would really like to communicate so people really understand, say what I do or what I really think. I don't like to be misinterpreted, and, like kind of produce some kind of conflict, for instance, and that's not what you want, right? But things happen. And the reason that things happen really is because we're not present enough. We're not mindful of a whole bunch of external factors, a whole bunch of the context in which things are happening. So we often just focus on what we're seeing, which, yes, of course, we see with our eyes, we perceive with our five senses. But then there's the five senses of others and their experience and their thoughts. And that's where things sometimes go wrong. It's when we're kind of, you kind of, you're trying to meet, and then you kind of, miss each other. You don't really understand what's really going on, or you don't understand what the other one is really wanting. And then maybe the other one, maybe your friend or your colleague believes that you said something and actually you didn't, and then conflicts start arising and you're like, come on, no, I didn't mean that. And how come this happens? Well, that's because we're not really mindful enough. We're not really present enough. We've got our thoughts, and they're telling us something different from what's really happening right in front of you. You know, say I saw this video yesterday, which was amazing. For instance, well, there was this guy in Paris, you might have seen it, and how he climbed up 5 stories. I don't know if it was 4 or 5 stories in Paris to save a little boy that was hanging, and his dad was holding on to his hand, but he couldn't get him up and safe. And this guy just, there were lots of onlookers, but this guy just went for it. He went and climbed. I mean, okay, he evidently has some dexterity and then very agile, which most people, it would be quite a risk. But he could have just stayed behind, and he had the physical capacity. He just went up and in just in just a minute or something, he was up there 5 stories high and pulled the boy into safety, back onto the balcony. It was amazing. Now, this guy was totally present. I imagine that even if I thought, well, maybe I can do it, I would probably be looking and, but no, well, is it possible? And no, and, and you just stand by but don't do anything. And that's how lots of our lives go. We just kind of are like in a dream, just doing our thing, but not really completely, observant of what's going around with us. And then we wonder why people, sometimes don't interpret things as we want, or, they see something different. Well, because they're also, in that tunnel, moving around without looking around and seeing what's going on in the context. And all around, what's going on. And we're just looking at our view. What do I need? What can I have? How can somebody else, how can my friend, how can my colleague, how can my boss, how can my mother, my father, my sibling, my cousins, how can they help me? And we forget to look at the other. What do they need? If we went around in life looking at trying to find, how can I help the next person? How can I be useful to my friend? How can I help? Then things would be so different. They really would. And I mean, if you think about it, your most happy, the happiest times in your life, were they when you were all focused on yourself and what you needed? Or were they rather when you actually supported them? When you supported your friends, when you supported, when you helped someone. Just have a think. And it is probably when you were connected with others, when you were most giving to others. And then things they just come back to you because you're so focused on helping others that you're really not paying attention too much. And then your thoughts subside. I mean, the times in my life when I've had less thoughts, I was most happy. I was just living the day. I was just present, wholly present, listening 100% to what people were saying. That's really a lovely feeling. So, your take. Let's see, I'd like to see your take and, how you are experiencing. And that would be great if you leave some notes. I'd really love it because, I give all these, videos and I love posting it because for me, I think it's really meaningful stuff. But if it's only meaningful to me, then I might as well, go away. But no, I know it's meaningful. And I know I thanks for everyone who puts up their likes. That's really great. I'd love to hear from you as well and how you're experiencing and what your struggles are, what the things are that you're doing well, that you're really happy about and would like to share. I'd love to, I feed from that positive energy that I get from clients and friends and, and we all do. So, that's all for me today. And it's just one little thing. And I know that, I just like to keep you in the loop, and I do have a group that's called Aspiring Leaders where I'll be sharing more of my development as a leader, as and they're different. Some people say leadership is being successful, like Tony Robbins kind of thing. You don't need to go that far. Being a leader is not only being a famous person, okay? I think we often get confused and think, no, I don't want to be that kind of person. Or, leadership starts with yourself. Loving yourself and being a good leader, a good person to yourself. And then role modeling, of course, because you're already being a genuine, authentic person. And for me, that's pretty much the leadership, but then also sharing it with others and not keeping it to yourself, because it's too good. You don't want to keep that to yourself. And that can build then the confidence. If you've got that, to come back to that theme of confidence, because I think I kind of went off a little bit. But as you develop that confidence, and as you develop that confidence through being more connected with the world, through giving, and then it just comes more naturally. I'll leave some more for later. I don't want to make this too long, but the confidence again comes from sharing with others your goodness, and you cannot share any goodness if you're beating yourself up for who you're not, or if you're not meeting expectations of others. You have to really embrace who you are, be authentic, and that will help you to gain your confidence. Talk to you next time. And again, if you do want to get more of these specific trainings, if you wish, or videos about developing your own leadership, I've got a group that's called Aspiring Leaders. If you're not already there, join me, and you'll see more of these videos and communicate with other people in the group as well, who are also on their leadership path. Talk to you later. Bye. Have a good one.